At a national level, because you see, one thing free SHS beneficiaries obviously would have tilted in the favor of MPP. It doesn't look so. Why do you think that one of our free will enjoy 3 years of free SHS? One to
now, if parents now Kasakra now where the bigger beneficiaries are aban or save one from paying
school fee.
Rough estimation about 18,000 cedis per annum. Crowd on to about because when you're here, how much more the children?
But beyond the when you're economy now. I mean, you see, the economy was in crisis. People were suffering. Hardship was system minimum.
You know, it can be a factor. And I don't think that Nankasa as a party, we explained what we are experiencing sufficiently enough.
Oh, you didn't explain?
I don't think
COVID-19 was I
don't think we, of course, the propaganda. And the NDC is in command. Now the reality is dawning on everybody. And Mr. Mahaman somehow came now. Now we hear him saying that it's not going to be an easy walk.
Of course.
Why? He didn't know before he said all the things that he said. So he should fix it. He knew the problems. But because we're not truthful about it.
You're not truthful about the problem.
Because you see, if you attribute decisions that Nana Dodanko Akufo-Addo Omeki necessary, unavoidable as mismanagement, you will come and meet the problems there. You can't solve it. How is the decision to pay the energy sector bill mismanagement? How was the decision to resolve the banking sector problem mismanagement? But they were necessary. They had to be taken. You didn't have the money, so you borrowed. You recall the below the line reporting. I think that government should have maintained it throughout. Because it would have been easy for everybody to see that, hey,
they not see.
They not see.
Exactly.
See.
No, but I think that 2001. In Parliament, he was raising it consistently. The below the line reporting and then
we should have maintained it because not listening to people like my good friend Anto helped in building their propaganda.
I see.
That look at the debt.
Yeah.
But the debt no attributable to what? Regular budgetary expenditure? Certainly not. They were exceptional. And so it should have been maintained. But I'm not an economist. I'm not the manager of the finances of our country. But in my view, if this extraordinary expenditure that government incurred, 2 of them, you maintain it until it gets off the books.
But I mean,
because people then see that it can't be that Akufo-Addo has borrowed all this money, which went into paying for the energy sector and the banking sector crisis.
Yeah.
Real. And these are the figures.
And these are academic too.
But and so if you get a global pandemic that hits you, you expect the impact on you to be the same as Togo, who did not have an energy crisis, who did not have a banking crisis. I expect the impact on you will be the same as Burkina Faso. You expect that the impact will be the same as Ivory Coast and yourself. But listen to the comparisons that they were making.
Of course, Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso.
Thank you. But did they have those underlying conditions that Ghana had? Did they?
Of course, I mean, they don't.
So how do you expect that the impact of COVID will be the same on Burkina Faso and Ghana? How is it going to be the same?
Well, because even with the impact of COVID, as on money.
Oh, I agree.
You see, revenue,
no,
and the accounts, and honorable. You see, in 2020,
there's no excuse that some of the funds were not managed properly. But it still doesn't take away the fact that some of those funds itself were debt.
Okay.
They were not all grants. They were debt. Our compound with debt position.
Already,
yeah. They say we are the law of parliament. There, ma we see nai be mo wa ma yensi kaseme koduni. Yes, you to me akwa IMF. But you akwa IMF you need solutions all the man. Obaka cut expenditure and raise revenue.
Exactly.
In Saban measures already roll out all the cut expenditure ni. Now, you raise additional revenue. Now you to me from manage the make all your other way. And you submit that budget to Parliament. Parliament, after all the brouhaha, will approve budget. Will approve appropriation. What's one approve the revenue measures?
Because of e-levy.
Thank you. Now approve budget, no. Oh, yeah, revenue and expenditure, now approve expenditure. Now approve revenue because of what?
So what's about the bed? Did you find a soft way?
Maybe so no.
Revenue measures.
Say, I approve revenue and expenditure.
Our appropriation.
I approve expenditure. Now I approve revenue. Okay then.
Yeah.
And you breach the law in the process. Section 22 of the Public Financial Management Act. Also there, the item seen before 31st December.
That's true.
So if you don't do it, you think there won't be consequences? You think there won't be consequences?
Of course there will be consequences.
Oh, the consequences are what?
Of course. Seeing is come from.
Oh, yes, we can no. Ratings agencies will react.
Of course they react. That's
Thank
true.
you very much.
That's very true.
There will be capital flight.
Yeah, that's very true.
Capital flight will lead to Jabadi. Exchange rate depreciation. It will take a bashing. How is that Akufo's fault?
Do you think that the NDC... No, Matt is the point that we're making us. So you think that the economic crunch and the economic crisis, one way I explain the NDC minority caucus contributed largely to the problems now on my economy.
Thank you very much.
That's the point I'm making.
But that's the fact. But
no, I want to get the point clearly.
So the breach of the law, there were no consequences. There were no consequences.
Because you cited capital flight, which I agree.
No, what was what will trigger that? What will trigger that is the breach of your law.
Yeah. I get you.
It will have consequences.
I get you.
And then in the midst of that, 2 months after people started moving their money out, you have a war in Russia, Ukraine. Global freight cost increases 5-fold. Akufo don't also put in the same. They attack Ukraine. And see the consequences of the war on freight cost in an import-dependent economy is his fault.
I see.
It's Akufo's fault. If freight cost goes up, it will affect your market.
Yeah, it affects everything.
Thank you.
They affect everything.
But listen to them. Akufo has mismanaged the economy. Baumia has mismanaged the economy. Now the reality is there. Oh. The reality is there. Is there.
Are you shocked that I
was shocked.
You are shocked that you
absolutely. Oh, without a doubt. Why? I was shocked that how? But you see, I may take a position with the my life is ordained by God.
Right.
And see, Morocco Abatuana, Bibiano, I never get disappointed. Also, I mean, the outcome no is either
you win or you
lose. Right. Manyame pen obey.
Manyame pen why?
Precisely. And see, immediately I moved on. That very night now.
A cast be about the polling stations. Now, I got to the boys now. What this cancer or what then it cuts my mind back to one delegate election, the primary senate. Because you see, honorable, I mean, I've covered a lot of elections, both internal and external. Some of your colleagues, Manshana monitor secondary to see what you did there. But here in Accra, in Kumasi, colleagues work check TV, they will check fridge, 5,000. So based on that, if a small group of people got to Abamo as the candidate, then you have to give them money.
And you can see from the general national voter turnout,
right?
Especially if you look at the data, and I get surprised so NPP lost overwhelmingly to the NDC. How is that borne out by the data? Mr. Mahama no votes or increasing from 2020 to 2024.
At least over 100,000.
It's not even up to that, but it's fine. Let's just round it up to 100,000.
Yeah.
MPP has between President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia in 2024 dropped by in excess of 2.1 million.
Yeah, about 2.1 million votes.
So it tells you that, and some around the yet say, at least for speaking for myself, though you have to about my one eye, watch one other, watch a woman him be informed the 46% decline in the votes that MPP attained in, for example, Western region.
I see.
It informed the turnout in secondary. And it cuts across the country. And it say colleague MPs, candidates will contest the election now. This sentiment, was national.
A bit widespread.
It's as if there was a conspiracy.
It want them delegate system because
it's a key factor.
The delegate system. Exactly.
It's a key factor.
Exactly. Do you think that the party should look at some of these things going forward?
The party has to look at a lot of things, including selection processes. The thought was that you move away from a smaller group to a relatively bigger group was going to reduce such influences in our elections. It turned out that it's become more costly because Obiasu Fude, now it's my time. 2,000 per CCR, it's over 150 or so thousand.
I see.
And the question has arisen as to whether we should make it every card bearing member of the party. Who is going to bear the cost of dues? Is it paid already? I mean, growing up, Nkano candidate Edubo and Naberdo. Na party paraphernalia yeto t-shirts, yeto handkerchiefs, yeto cap. With
because
time,
you feel proud to be a member of the party.
Absolutely, with time. Candidates in order check.
Yeah, true.
Dues. Candidates in here. Primaries are, of course, membership dues. Candidates are what primaries are. You have to find money to pay dues for the police station executives. I won't cry executive members.
I see.
I mean, for the longest, now every day be able to one city as dues to the party. My setting up automatically on my phone.
Oh, okay.
But is it everybody who does that?
No.
And the question is, extended into every card-bearing member. Would you be shifting the responsibility of paying the dues to the candidates, or that the members who have taken the cards would be willing to pay their dues so that they can participate in the selection process? I don't know.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
In any event, NDC for or try them expanded delegate system 2016.
Yeah.
Only one election cycle. They roll back.
It cost them very, very.
Why? It cost them.
Yeah.
So, do we have the luxury of time to experiment with NDC for one system? No. Or that already devise some mechanism. About one year them expectation from our core support base. One. And two, ensure that anyone who walk to Abano are sufficiently representative enough to take the decision for.
In your view, what would be the best in your view?
Frankly, I don't know. I don't think that the expansion necessarily will help.
Okay.
In view of the NDC experience. I don't think that the current system ought to be maintained. Either.
I see.
Because you have the same effect.
Yeah.
And see, maybe some alternative selection process that takes away the broad mass participation. I don't know.
Like imposition?
No, it's not a question of imposition. If the secondary train or aspire for the parliamentary candidate role, na part no mechanism be obotum Wa evaluate one hour select a crowd. And John also a selection process.
Also a selection process.
And I don't know.
But when you're democratic enough.